Okay, it's Roger once again from a Mud Fossil University, the only university in the world right now that's teaching truth, and this is interstitium, which is the layer just below the skin and so forth that pulls this way, pulls that way, goes this way, stretches this way, and it all comes back due to these fluid-filled bags and these little squiggly things that come off of these balls. And these balls and this flesh, and then below it is the basement layer. Let's see what it looks like on Earth. Do I have a shot of that? Ooh, yes I do. Those are the tendon balls. Well, I call them tendon balls. They're actually interstitium balls. These balls right here are inlaid in that layer of flesh I showed you with the skin above. This appeared to be a white-skinned person. I mean, I'm serious. And that's kaolin clay. Kaolin clay comes in the skin colors, brown and red and white and so forth. Now, this has eroded away because of the ocean. This mud is nothing more than eroded flesh. This is the interstitium layer I just showed you, which originally at some point would be able to stretch like that, and those balls would make it all return to normal. They've eroded, they have collapsed. It's time to close the case on this. This is insane. Absolutely insane that the people teaching you can just disregard reality. Absolutely insane. I'm going to go deep with this. You're just going to have to end up laughing if you have any sense in your mind whatsoever. Now, here's your kaolin clays. These are the colors of skin. And literally, those are the colors of human skin. And that is what you find on the surface with those balls and straps in them. And Tyson has the best spot in the world right now for being able to work with that. We're going to go look at that right now. And by the way, I am using people's, that first shot was in Huntington Beach or something in the United Kingdom. I've been using shots from everybody. They just send them to me from various sources. If it's something that you took and I'm using it, please, make a comment and say, thanks for using my picture, or don't use my picture, you moron, or whatever you want to say. But I'm just putting things out there that support my evidence, and everything in the world does. So I'm figuring that I can use anything that I run across. All right, thank you. So, and I just want you to get credit for it if it's something that you feel that relates to you. All right, thank you. See, there's Cannonball Beach. They call them concretions. Well, we know what they are now. These are, and they're everywhere. They're all around the world. This is Cannonball Beach, and here's Bowling Ball Beach. Bowling Ball Beach. Well, I don't think it's in Oregon, but they're all over the world too. Bowling Ball Beach. That's in England. But they're everywhere. It's the surface of the Earth was some form of an interstitial skin, just like us. Okay, yeah, here it is. This is from my old channel. So I don't post here at all, and I haven't done it in years, probably 4 or 5 years, because I won't go into it. But I did show this one up here. This was come from, I called it mud space fossils. But again, I don't post here anymore. This was the Earth is alive, completely living and in trouble. And I tried to do this. This goes back 5 years ago. And this was after a lot of research. I'm coming to you today with some information that I stumbled across. I'm not an expert in anything. I study fossils in deep earth geology, and how petroleum is sublimated out, and the processes of the transitions of rocks and things like that in the earth. It's just sort of boring stuff, but I found some very, very interesting stuff. And as a result of that, I started to investigate how the Earth is creating these things and what these things are and so forth. And what you see here are blue holes, and these blue holes are all over the Earth. And those holes, I've come to find out, and I have the supporting evidence, and I'm sure it's correct, I'd certainly like to have it looked at. It could be wrong, but I'd like to see somebody come up with a contradictory, factual disagreement, and if it is right, it becomes critically important. Now, these holes, I believe, are the digesters for the earth. Those are the things that feed the earth, and the earth. All right. By this time, nobody was still watching. So the key was I tried to be nice. That didn't work. So that's why I took the tack that I took, because everybody's upset at me. All right, a little interruption there. Now, so here I am, Mr. Nice Guy, trying to present this and saying, will somebody please take a look at this? Well, it didn't happen. Pretty sure it's alive. I know, it sounds crazy. I sound like I'm way out there, but I have literal physical evidence to show that the earth is alive. And these holes digest food. I'm going to show you dives where they go right through, and it's identical to a digestive system. Now, these are what's happening in Florida and Russia. These are those blue holes dying. Now, these were underneath the tundra and they weren't seen, but they still are the digesters. Now, as the tundra recedes, it's just caving in because the digesters are dying. Methane gas is coming up from the decomposition of the earth, of the life of the earth, is what I'm saying. Now, this may not be, don't panic. I mean, nobody's going to even pay attention probably, but certainly you wouldn't panic about this because we don't know. We don't know what's going on there. But there's... See, that's the key. We don't know, and we still don't know because nobody's paying any attention. Now, the only one they paid any attention at all, to be honest with you, was the Russians. I talked with them about their issues with, there's a Camp Chatkers, I can't remember what it was. This was back then, because these were just starting to open up there. And I had some dealings with some people in Japan, and so forth, back and forth. Anyway, they asked me what I thought, and I said, you got a problem, you're in trouble. And I don't think they like that answer, but what can you say? That's the problem. And it got worse. There was only 13 of them, I think, when I talked to them. And then last I heard, it was like 30,000 or something. But this is what happens. These holes, they sink in because the fabric of the earth is collapsing. Why? I'm not 100% sure. Did we take too many fossil fuels out and too many fluids? Is everything, I don't know. I don't know exactly what is going on, but the fabric of the earth is collapsing. It's as simple as that. And then I showed all my stuff out here, because I have all mud fossils, and then I showed what's happening up on Mars. The same stuff. Mars is alive just like Earth. It's time to pay attention to the reality. And then I go out here to where they have this deep hole dive. And let's listen to this. I'm sure it was excellent. Here goes. This woman, Breanne Kirby, I think her name was, but she did this article about doing a deep hole dive, exactly like going through a digestive system. Let me come back here to where it starts. All right, here we go. It's exploring within. And she is exploring in a dive in a blue hole. And she says, I'd imagine that I was a tiny microbe moving through the gut of some impossibly large and fantastic beast, because she really literally was. And then she goes on to thinking of the specific topology of the blue hole, specific topology of the human gastrointestinal system, the mouth to the anus. Now, I have all of this stuff documented. I have all of this stuff on other videos. I have 9 videos that I'm explaining this, and I'm explaining the foliations of the earth, the fabric of the earth. The earth is alive, and there's virtually no question about it. So something's got to be looked at. And I did a whole series of videos about the problems we're having with the earth, about the sprites, about these sinkholes, about all of the issues that are related to, well, I go through it, there's 9 of them, and then there's all kinds of methane gases are coming up, being boiled up through the ground because they collect in pockets under these things. That Tianjin chemical factory explosion. It was the chemicals first, but once it burned through the surface layer of the skin, that's of the earth, that's when you got the big explosion. It was a straight up pulse. That's where they're seeing these pulses emitted through earth. And I think I show all this stuff in here. I mean, anyway, let's just continue on with this. This is a deep blue hole dive by Jonathan Bird. Jonathan Bird's Blue World, very, very good guy, and excellent on public TV. And here he goes. Listen carefully.
The bottom looks like it's sand, but it's actually a deep layer of silt. While Tim hovers high above the bottom to keep from kicking up silt, I perform a little experiment.
Listen
Down
to
on the
this.
bottom, I plunge my arm into the
This is what our
silt
mother
up to
is
my
eating.
shoulder, and it's even deeper.
All right, I just want to explain to you. This is a digestive system identical to ours. It's a little more aqueous. There's more water in this one than probably in ours. However, we have this layer just like this moving through our intestines. And it is all broken down. It's being invaded by molecules of sulfur and all kinds of different invasive chemistry that's eating it down into little bits and pieces so that we can digest it. Now, in addition, there's going to be some invasive chemistry going on here that's going to damage things. So we create mucus. Let's watch what happens here.
Than that, this is a layer of decomposing leaves and other organic stuff. The decomposition creates hydrogen sulfide, a deadly gas that smells like rotting eggs. The water is saturated with hydrogen sulfide, and I can smell it in the water
This chemistry that breaks molecules down. It's not that he's smelling the molecules that are broken down. Well, he is, but those molecules are broken down because of bacteria invading them with little chemistry sets that say, go and break down all these little things into their little bits and pieces. And that's what bacteria does in your gut too. And if you don't have the bacteria in your gut, you won't be able to break those things down into little bits and pieces, and you will be sick.
seeps around the edge of my mask.
We all know that smell. All right, so we don't have to go any further with this. And then it just shows, well, oh, well, I guess there's another good spot out here. This has been 5 years ago, this was. Let's see what I got to say out here. Here goes. Oh, this is where the mucus is. Because we do the same thing. In your body, what bacteria does in you, and I keep talking about bacteria is so important, it is. And that's why I talk about taking probiotics, you know, before you get them in your stomach, and that breaks down and digests things. That's what you need. And what happens is antibiotics have killed all these things in us, and the MMR vaccine kills things. And then you end up with a non-digesting gut. So the stuff just goes, you don't get the stuff out that you need. So what you need is chemistry in there that's invasive. Well, the chemistry that's invasive is going to attack this stuff and break it down, but it also attacks your skin, your intestines. So you create mucus. So let's see what happens inside this exact same structure.
It forms clouds near the bottom with a distinct line between the clear ocean water above and the silty hydrogen sulfide
That's
layer
the
below.
destructive layer.
What you're seeing here are the decomposing remains of forest vegetation
Decomposed
which have
stuff.
passed entirely through the caves and out into the ocean.
Again, this is where it's doing its chemistry. It's eating the hell out of all those things. Up here, you have an aqueous solution. It's just more, again, it's a little different construction, but it's doing the same process. Down here is where our poop is, and here is where all the chemistry is invading it. And now we have to protect the layer of our tissue that is underneath, that is doing the absorption.
To me, look like strands of mucus floating in the water. It's most likely mucus secreted by the coral in response to the caustic hydrogen sulfide.
No, it isn't.
It's stuck on everything, including this gorgonian, which has closed all its polyps to protect it.
All right. This gorgonian is sucking in all kinds of nutrients off of this. However, at a certain point of the day, when the tide goes out and it flushes all of the real caustic stuff out, it creates the mucus. And it closes all of its polyps. The tide goes out, sucks all the crap out, and just like it's voiding it. I mean, it's just what it is. So, and that's what the mucus does. There is no difference. Zero difference. Zero. None. Nada. Identical.
Itself from the hydrogen sulfide. As the tide carries the toxic water away, the corals will go back to normal. Finally, we head back to the boat. Tim and Mike
That's
hang
Mother
on to
Earth.
the anchor line.
I'm telling you, they just missing everything. And now this is 5 years ago I did this. And at that point I got pretty abusive after a while because nobody listened to a damn thing I was saying. And at that point I had all my DNA tests and my giants, all that stuff was proven. Not a word. And all I was doing was being attacked by both sides, and really ones that really attacked the most was the flat earth people. They just could not accept me showing the earth as round, and that was just not. That's why I had to change this channel. And the academics, they just hiding and still hiding. Hard to believe, my friends, but that's the situation I was stuck atween.